Carolyn Dube here. What's the play for today? Today, it's all about dealing with a just right kind of day. See, everything I've been doing outside of art today needed to be done just right, precisely, accurately. Things like filling out this mountain of paperwork for my daughter to be considered in-state for when she starts school in the fall. Dealing with trying to sort out a warranty issue and trying to get something covered that should be covered, but all the paperwork. Those are the kinds of things that need to be done just right. And I've had just about enough of that. So I grabbed my art supplies and I'm going to play, and you're going to see some things not go just right. What I've got here is a scrap of a gel print, something larger that I'd made, and this was the leftover part I didn't use. And all I want to do is get a little bit of white paint to come out, and it would not come out of that tube. And you know what? I love that it didn't go just right, because the pressure that I'd used to squeeze it to get it out there, that made all those wonderful lines that I'm going to leave right in the middle of that big round gel printed circle. What I've got now, this is called an art crayon, and it's like a creamy lipstick basically is how it feels to me. And the color just smears and blends around with your finger really, really nicely. Now that little bit of purple got me thinking, I'm going to try a bold color here on the other side. I'm going to put a bunch of red. And that is not one of my go-to colors, but I put a nice generous amount on there. And as I'm moving it around, I realized, oops, yep, this is an outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly, because I really didn't like how it looked on there. Now, when there's something that I don't really like the look of, one of the things I do is try and take some of it off. So I grabbed a towel that I had nearby, and I just started wiping up a bunch of that red paint. And as I did that, I realized I think I like it a little bit more now that I've kind of pulled it back, not quite so much red on there. And I love when I'm playing that if something doesn't go the way I expected, if it doesn't turn out the way I thought it would in my mind, I don't have to start all the way over. I can just say oops and keep going and see where it takes me. I will tell you that that attitude does not carry over successfully when filling out warranty paperwork. When an oops happens there, it's kind of a, okay, we really are going to start over and have to fill everything out one more time. Something else that had to go just right today was the phone tree when trying to get questions answered. As you start hitting those little numbers to take you to different places, you gotta know where you're going. Thankfully, when you and I are playing with our art supplies, we do not have to have an exact perfect plan of where we're going and hit every button correctly. We can just see what evolves and what happens. Like on this thing right now, I started to see a head and shoulders. So I'm going to start following that direction with this and see where it takes me. In those scribble lines that are in the head right now, there is a start of a face in there. But I'm not going to keep it just exactly the way it is there. I'm going to add a little something to it. I've grabbed some brayer cleanup papers here. I picked one that I like the colors of. And I'm going to, in a very fancy way, create an eye. And when I say in a fancy way, what I mean is kind of rip it and hope it comes out to about the size and shape that I want. You most definitely could say that I was eyeballing it on this. Now, I was having such a reaction to everything being just right outside of the play today that I'm not sure if I did this on purpose or not. But those two eyes, they don't really fully match. They are definitely not just right by outside world standards. But there's something that I really love about them not being perfectly matching. One last thing that I want to give to these eyes, though, is an iris pupil thing. Now, I call it an iris pupil thing because it's not like these eyes are actually anatomically correct for a human being. So it's that idea of something in the middle of the eye, but since there's only one of them, is it a pupil or is it an iris? I will leave you with that burning question as I go on to the nose. Now this nose, the way it starts out, as soon as I pull it out, it looks more like a mouth to me than it does a nose. So I kind of stuck it there to see how it looked, and nope, didn't like it there either. So I thought, oh, I'll just tear a little paper off here and I'll turn it into a nose. And what I end up creating is more of a little dill pickle. That's the look that it has to me, more so than a nose. And once I put it on the face, it doesn't matter if I turn it an angle here or there. All I can see with that is a pickle. Now, if 35-year-old me had been making this, The red paint, that kind of mistake, that failure, that horrific crime, that would have been enough to get me to step away and stop. Let alone the nose, that would have completely shut me down. So what's different now that I've crossed into my 50s? Is it just age and wisdom? Nope. It's that I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out what specifically blocks the play and how to unblock it. And along the way, I've figured out very specific strategies that do that. You've heard one of them in this video. It was O.O.P.S, saying outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly instead of beating myself up when I screw things up. Now these 10 strategies, what I call play principles, are the foundation of my latest workshop, Playful Art Journaling and the 10 Play Principles. So if you'd like more freedom when you're playing, if you'd like to get rid of the pressure, the noise that's in your head, if you'd like decisions to be a whole lot easier, then check out Playful Art Journaling. It just might be what you need. You can find all the details and information about the workshop at the link down below and also at acolorfuljourney.com. Now this guy, by the way, he needs a name and I'm drawing a complete blank on what I want to call him. So if you've got an idea for what I should use for the name, leave it for me in the comments. I'd love to know. There's just one last thing that I want to do to him today, and that is get a little scribble journaling on him. Now, I've been asked about scribble journaling, that if you're not used to doing it, how do you do it? How do you just let go with it? And that is one of the bonuses that I've got for you when you join Playful Art Journaling and the 10 Play Principles. The pencil that I'm using, it is just a plain white colored pencil, nothing fancy. And when you're playing, your supplies don't need to be fancy. You can use whatever you've got on hand. Well, thanks so much for joining me for today's play. If you've been enjoying this video, I'd so appreciate a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button. That way you'll know as soon as I've got a new one out. And you can find all the details for Playful Art Journaling and the 10 Play Principles over at acolorfuljourney.com. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.